following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao alongside PATTON, coming to you from southern Middle Tennessee, reaching you all across the mid-state. Glad to be with you here. It is a beautiful day outside, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be our neighbor for the next hour and a half, as we've got a great show coming up for you. Top 5 Tuesday. Rest in peace, Coolio. So we're going to go top 5 rappers today. Although
I was really kind of thinking that you might check off after the unfortunate news this morning of the passing of legendary country music recording artist Loretta Lynn at the age of 90. So
we could do.
I was kind of expecting that call. You know,
we could do top 5 greatest band songs from radio, and Loretta would have all of them.
I was just thinking we could do top 5 Loretta Lynn songs. Of course, past Stand By Your Man and Coal Miner's Daughter. I'm kind of stuck, but you know,
The Peel. That was the big one. That's the one that got her banned from country radio the first time. And she said, wait a minute, this sold a bunch of records. We should do more of this.
You don't have to play me as long as they pay me.
That's right. You don't got to play me as long as they pay me. Who said that? Seems like something that T.O. would say,
or Dion.
Or Dion.
Excuse me.
Coach Prime. No, Dion would have said that.
That is
Coach
true.
Prime probably
might not.
Do you think he makes his players call him prime time ever?
No. I'm sure he makes them.
Probably makes it a point not to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach.
No, you're going to call me Coach.
Yeah.
Because that's just that is Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's happened though, and you know they ran for it.
But yeah, so top 5 Tuesday, top 5 rappers, and I'm excited about that one. And of course, my rap knowledge is fairly okay, but it's definitely gonna be some commercial folks. You're not gonna hear me come out with some random obscure name like I do in everything else. So you're gonna know all of mine. There's that. Chip Walters will join us as he does each and every Tuesday at 3:00, and we'll talk about the Braves. We've got some college football reactions that we didn't get to yesterday that we'll continue to get to today. And speaking of top 5, we'll rank another top 5, but there are only 5 to rank, so there's that. We'll get to that as well. Also, the SEC last week announced its futures football schedules, and we didn't get a chance to look at them, and I wanted to kind of take a look at them. So we'll get to all of that coming up. But Mo, before we get too close into it, let's go ahead and take a look at yesterday's results, and we'll get to today's schedule. If we can get to it quick enough, we'll go to today's rundown.
This is the rundown.
In volleyball action yesterday, it was Beach defeating Hendersonville 3-1. Battleground Academy shuts out Nashville Christian 3-0. Cookville 3-1 winners over Wilson Central. Gallatin edging Portland 3-2. Murfreesboro Central Magnet 3-0 winners over Giles County, while Goodpasture down Grace Franklin 3-0. It was Mount Pleasant, a 3-2 nail biter there over Hampshire. Mount Juliet 3-1 winners over White County. Loretto shuts out Perry County 3-0. Providence Christian over DCA 3-0. And Watertown over Westmoreland also 3-0.
In girls soccer action on Monday, it was Clarksville Northeast edging Springfield 3-2. CPA with a 2-0 win over Gallatin. White House Heritage with a shutout as well, 7-0 over Goodpasture. And Fairview blanks Marshall County 6-0. In professional baseball action on Monday night, it was the Pirates with a 3-2 win over the NL Central champion St. Louis Cardinals. The Reds with a 3-1 win over the Chicago Cubs. The Brewers, in a valiant effort, down Arizona 6-5 in 10, but are still eliminated from the postseason chase, unfortunately. Also, clinching will have to wait another day for the Atlanta Braves as they were blanked by host Miami 4-0. We'll talk more about that later, but the one word is flat.
There you go. Volleyball action today. Listen carefully. Lawrence County at Community at 4 o'clock. The Forest and Fayetteville winner is taking on Eagleville also at 4 o'clock. I don't know when Forest and Fayetteville played.
Yesterday.
Okay. Well,
but we don't have that result.
We don't. This is kind of so. Yeah. Middle Tennessee Christian taking on BGA at 5 o'clock. Also at 5, Station Camp is at Gallatin. Wilson Central and Cookeville winner is Cookeville. Mm-hmm. So Cookeville will take on Green Hill at 5 o'clock. Mount Juliet is also that is
Mount Juliet White County winner was going to play Green Hill.
Yes.
Wait a minute. That can't be right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mount Juliet must be playing at Green Hill or somebody's. I don't know.
Be careful where you get your schedules. Tullahoma taking on Murfreesboro Central at 5:15. Moore County Cascade. I don't think we have a winner there either. They will be taking on Culleoka at 5:30. Providence Christian is at Good Pasture at 6:30. There it is. Mount Juliet taking on Lebanon at 7.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense.
But this has also got Cookeville playing Lebanon.
Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Cookeville, and Green Hill are playing volleyball.
Some configuration. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Let's go from there.
Yeah, in girls soccer action today. 5 o'clock starts. Ensworth at Father Ryan, Brentwood Academy at Lipscomb Academy, Independence Academy at St. Cecilia. At 5:45, Lead Academy is at Overton. 6 o'clock starts. STEM Academy at Greenbrier, East Robertson at Hunters Lane, Portland at Lebanon, Sycamore at Liberty Creek, White House Heritage at Clarksville Northwest, and Republic at Whites Creek.
6:30, Watertown hosting York Institute. White House hosting Hendersonville at 7. Station Camp goes to Beach. Dixon County's at home against Montgomery Central. BGA goes to Page. Nolensville is at Shelbyville. Harpeth Hall is at Summit, and Independence is at Warren County.
In professional baseball action tonight, the Nationals, well, not tonight.
This afternoon.
The Nationals and the Mets will play a doubleheader with game 1 beginning at 3:10 today because they were rained out last night.
There's an 80% chance of rain in New York today and tomorrow, so they may actually have to move that series.
Ooh, I hate it.
Darn.
I hate it. 5:35 start St. Louis at Pittsburgh. 5:40 the Cubs are at the Reds. At 5:40 the Braves continue their series at the Marlins. Magic number of 1 to clinch the National League Eastern Division Championship for the visiting Braves. And the Diamondbacks are at the Brewers at 6:40 in a game that means nothing. Also, last night, we did not mention this in our results. It was an oversight, but the San Francisco 49ers defeated the Los Angeles Rams 24-9.
Well, we also didn't mention in our results. We did find out, thanks to a listener and viewer, that Summertown's girls did win the state golf tournament today. So
yeah, they finished
tomorrow, but
they finished 12 over par for their 2 rounds. The Lady Eagles did 3 strokes ahead of Kingston to claim their 5th consecutive state championship in Class A.
So not 4?
No. 5th.
Fear the thumb.
5th. 1 for the thumb. Congratulations to Carly Campbell and John Campbell and all the Campbells.
And in other news,
right.
Water is wet.
There we go.
related story.
There we go. Yeah.
Now that is, of course.
The boys is not complete, but Cole Campbell continue. Oh, he is done. Cole's Campbell
done, but is everything else done?
I don't know if everything else is done, but I don't know that anybody can catch him. Cole Campbell is in the clubhouse at 3 under 141 for 2 rounds, and he is the leader. Second place, Peyton Ogle of Signal Mountain is also in the clubhouse. He is 1 under for the tournament. And so there is a young man, Colbin Gregg of South Green, who is 3 over through 14. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, Cole Campbell, Summertown, sophomore, is in the clubhouse at 3 under for the tournament, and he is the leader in the clubhouse. So good luck to him to hang on there. And we will keep you posted on that as we can here on Main Street Sports Today and on the Rundown.
And that is the Rundown. All right, our top story today, Mo. I'm going to throw up a tweet here. You may have to make it full screen on your laptop here. But
I saw this stuff last night.
This may be the greatest thing in the history of college sports. I don't know what
you saw Matt Brown retweet this.
Yeah, well, I actually saw it before Matt Brown retweeted it. I saw it from a guy who also covers this area in Texas.
This is some explosive stuff.
I was hoping it wasn't going to make its rounds because I wanted to get genuine reactions here, but I bet you Justin hasn't seen it.
I was just about to say, can someone TLDR this? Too long didn't read.
Too long didn't read. Where
you ever
is
seen
she?
Blue Mountain State?
I have every episode.
Okay. There you go. This is Blue Mountain State in actual.
This is University of Texas Permian Basin women's soccer coach, and I don't see her first name in this tweet, but this is her. She's a first-year coach. Is that right?
I believe so.
But she, there was an anonymous letter written to a number of individuals accusing the women's soccer coach at Texas Permian Basin of a number of issues.
Gotcha.
Including a DWI arrest.
Carla Tejas.
Carla Tejas, T-E.
I'm seeing the bullet points here, the physical interaction. Okay.
Yeah, she was accused of a
the
DWI.
Players helped her. They bailed her out. This is
well,
phenomenal.
She solicited.
Yeah, but they
were scared. They were scared not to.
Well, I'm sure they were. Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Distributed alcohol to minors. They may have partaken in that.
Physical interactions with members of the men's soccer team.
Kissing in public.
Apparently, she was ejected from a game and pulled a Bobby Valentine.
So this was all under the rug until this.
Until sometime yesterday. Yeah. They've been playing a player from Uruguay who has not attended in-person classes, but has played in every minute of every game.
She just decided to do every single thing wrong.
Everything.
Hey,
Allegedly.
Right, exactly. Well, it's on the internet, so they can't put anything on the internet.
Yeah, there you go. Encourages cheating on classwork and schedules team events at late notice, leaving players to struggle to complete schoolwork or create a study schedule. Expects soccer to come before academics. One player suffered a stroke, and the coach did not reach out to the player until days later, was also suspended the same week of her illness, and is now seeking mental health counseling.
A stroke? Suspended for an illness? It's a stroke?
Yeah. Yeah, so the eyes of college athletics are probably upon Texas Permian Basin, and not in a good way.
Listen, when I saw it, it was absolutely it was a season of Blue Mountain State.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was a whole season.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything like it. Seriously.
And hopefully you won't again.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope we never see anything like it again. Anyway, I mean, my goodness.
It's crazy.
Anyway, well, that's our top story.
and
Only because of it. We couldn't save it for Wild and Wacky.
We'll keep an eye on it for sure, because I'm sure there will be more to it.
Oh, there's no question. No question. All right, we'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll take a look at those future football schedules for SEC football and who will be playing cross-division opponents, what cross-division opponents will be played. So come back with us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton coming to you here on this Tuesday, October 4th edition. Glad to be with you as we are going to rehash, because we realized after I looked at this email that we have, in fact, gone through the 2023 football schedule, but I did want to go through it real quick. And the cross-division games that Tennessee will play next year, I see Texas A&M at Tennessee, but that's the only other cross outside of Alabama, the only cross-division team they play. And that makes sense because you've got – no, it doesn't make sense. I don't know who the other team is. Okay,
so it's a 17 district.
It's 6
so
and 2.
Yeah, 6 and 2.
Right,
So that's
6 and 2. That is right. So Texas A&M will come in to town.
Math.
Vanderbilt will play Auburn. That is their cross-division game, and it is in Nashville. It's interesting.
Vanderbilt and Auburn. Who's their other one?
Their normal rival is
Ole Miss.
I think it is Ole Miss. Who does Vanderbilt play every year? Okay,
I believe that is correct. Yes.
So there you go. Kentucky plays Ole Miss or Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt plays Ole Miss every year. Mm-hmm. Who knew? Anyway, so that's it for that. I did, and I know we're not big NBA folks, but I wanted to show you this. Did you see that Ja Morant did not receive a single vote for the NBA's best point guard?
Is Ja Morant a point guard?
He is listed as a point guard.
Oh, well.
He should be at every single position.
Yeah, then that's a travesty.
71% of the vote went to Steph Curry. Okay.
Is he a point guard? And I don't remember who the first person was who used the phrase positionless basketball with me, but I think the NBA is really moving hard in that direction and certainly kind of carrying that banner. So I don't even know what position a lot of guys play.
I remember the swing position, guys who played shooting guard / small forward.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of references to point forwards of late.
Well, when you've got guys who are 6'5", 6'6", bringing the ball on the court
and initiating the offense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a Magic Johnson thing because he could play both.
Well, I mean, that entire team, that was
Outside
kind of the beauty of that team, because you had, I always enjoyed those Showtime Lakers because you had 5 guys that could rebound it, run the break, and finish at the other end.
And that was the point of
that, the way that team was made up. Yep.
Yeah, that was the point of the entire thing. I mean, that's why Jerry West, couldn't be the coach of that particular team, because it would have been Norm running the point and Magic on the block with Kareem. It just wouldn't have worked out. I mean, say what you want. Jerry Buss knew what he was doing, whether he knew how to do it in the best, tactful way.
Right.
He missed some tact, but other than that,
slightly, ever so slightly,
it worked out for him. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I wanted to mention that because also the NBA has put out a new score bug, and we'll show it to you here.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Is that not just bad?
Yes. I'm going to go with bad, yes.
One, I don't need to know how many timeouts there are in NBA. They have 37. So I don't need to know who's got how many.
Yeah, I'm not really keeping up with that like I am with football. I don't need that information, I don't think.
There's too many as it is. And secondly, this just looks like a 1994 video game.
What was it before? I guess
it wasn't that.
Yeah, I think the fact of it is you're not supposed to notice it, and I noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, someone asked for records in there, and I guess records would be okay. But I mean, the logos, that to me, logos are kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here, I've got to present my screen here.
But that's just not good. It just looks like an old video game, is my point.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand we're all in for retro, but that's a little too retro for me.
Right. Here's the old one. You can't really see it too well, but right here.
I mean, it's got logos at least.
And it just flows nicer, I believe. I believe it flows way nicer.
I don't know. I kind of the one in the middle, or the old one.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just too much color on this.
There is. You're right. They're true.
I don't know.
Reaching.
It's a reach. I just thought it. When you really think about score bugs, like you said, Justin, to me it just feels like, it's not supposed to be noticeable, kind of like the officials.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And for that, it's pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
Sorry, those were two just random things that I had to talk about, and I, for whatever reason, just wanted to get that in there. Also, did you see the streaker last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Bobby Wagner?
These gender reveals are getting out of hand.
They're going a little too far.
I mean, my goodness.
Is that really what it was for? It was for a gender reveal?
It was. He was trying to bring awareness to rescuing animals or something. And
looked like he was the one that needed rescuing when it was all said and done.
After Bobby Wagner put one on him. Now, Did you see the reaction from Peyton and Eli on the Monday Night
I did
Manning
not.
cast? Okay, so Peyton's like he's trying to give play-by-play because they're not showing it on video, and after it's over, he's like, "Well, I know the A team can't show it, but that's kind of why we're here, isn't it?" And so they showed it. They showed Bobby Wagner just whacking. I mean, it was fun to watch. So,
You knew they'd find a way to show it.
oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean,
A friend of mine on Facebook, former University of Tennessee and former Ezel Harding standout softball player, Natalie Brock, posted watching the first half of the game with Troy and Joe, and then realizing that Peyton and Eli were on. It's like buying a chicken sandwich at Wendy's and then driving 2 minutes and seeing a Chick-fil-A.
that's perfect, actually.
Yeah,
There it is.
It really is.
Let's see it one more time. Back that thing up. Speaking of top 5 rappers. Oh, I didn't see that guy busted on the 45. Did you see
Somebody
that?
said he might have torn his ACL on that.
I mean,
Yeah, they
he
might have got his
just
ankles.
the turf monster jumped up.
It'll replay here in a second.
Wagner did not care. Wagner was like, listen, and I mean, the
Oh,
45 just straight got him.
Yeah.
He stepped on
No
the 45
contact
and that was
injury.
it.
Yeah. Tackled by a blade of grass there, was he?
That was a
And
hit stick.
I
by
love
Bobby.
that. Yeah, but I love that the security guard never gave up. Like, I mean, he had him. He let him
He
run
got
it. I
yellow.
mean, this guy's really good. I mean, he had a good angle on him.
He
Right.
was running him to the help.
Hey, run him to the sideline. Use it as a 12 defender is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
there you
He
go.
gets 0.5 of that tackle too on the stat sheet.
Oh, absolutely. I'm giving him half a tackle on that because, again, the angle that he takes right here forces him back. And then once he took it was over.
Only we could get Caleb Farley to play that way. Oh, that's a cheap shot.
Can we?
That was a cheap shot.
Can we sign that guy? Sign him up.
Yeah, honestly.
Looked like he could play something. Special teams, something. I don't know. Yeah.
And I did see that, speaking of injuries and the Titans, Traylon Burks.
Turf toe. Yeah.
Oh,
That is-
McNair played with that every single game. We're good.
Yeah, but he wasn't a receiver, though.
True. Actually, you're right.
Who'd you say played with that?
McNair.
McNair.
Oh, yeah. Well, he could do things that not everybody could do.
That is true.
He's a different breed.
He was taking naps before the game.
Well,
He was.
I don't think anybody's going to complain about anything Steve McNair did to get ready to play.
Now, whatever he did,
Yeah.
it worked.
You gonna wake him up?
So-
Nah.
No, he'll be all right.
He's
Yeah,
good.
he can play there.
We're good. We're all good here. No. All right. Well, I just thought that was just a bunch of random stuff I wanted to get to today because I thought it was hilarious. The run of show just says, look at your Twitter DMs. And I have several of those. Matter of fact, including in my DMs, Mo, do you remember what I told you last Wednesday when we found out that LeBron and some other NBA players bought that Major League Pickleball team?
Mm-hmm.
Did you even know there was a Major League Pickleball league?
Oh, we discussed that the other day.
No, we didn't know.
No.
Neither of us knew.
No idea. Who else? It was LeBron, Draymond, and KD, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was KD. It was
No.
some random
It
person.
was another Kevin Love,
Love. That's it.
KL.
So, yeah, I mean, you see the weirdest stuff randomly, and I mean, my DMs, Mo, are just full of Carl's Drive-In expansion includes in O'Fallon, Missouri, includes a go-kart track. Yeah.
Wait, run that.
So it is a rooftop patio seating and drive-through window. All right. So you've got the drive-through, but on the other side is basically it's an outdoor entertainment center. So there's a go-kart track. There's a 50-foot sky tower, a swing carousel, concession kiosks. basically like, I mean, you can either drive through and get your burger, or you can go in and
have the time of your life.
Yeah, right.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, just don't ask me to get into my DMs because it gets crazy in there. And I send these to myself.
That's the quote of the day right there. I love
ding,
that.
ding, ding.
Don't you dare go into my DMs.
It's crazy in there. But anyway, all right. Well, let's take a break because we do have a lot of college football to get to, and I want to get to it because there is a ton of questions to be asked, and we'll get to all of those questions right after this. Really quick break here, coming to you on Main Street Sports. Presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, Justin Kulik on the controls today, and we've got some interesting stuff to get to here. And I want to start, Mo, in Dallas. And my question here is, you know, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but SMU apparently has some players who are threatening to sit out the rest of the season and then enter the transfer portal at the end of the season.
Because of what?
That I don't know. That is a great question. But Dallas Morning News reporting that there are several players who are planning on sitting the rest of the year to preserve their red shirt because of their 4th game. And my question is, should the school or team be able to pull their scholarship?
Ooh.
Because you're not holding up your end of the bargain.
If you're refusing to play, it's a good question.
I mean, if the scholarship is it
should be contingent on you playing.
I would think so.
If you're available to play. That's a heck of a question. And it would probably take someone smarter than me to give you an answer, but I don't disagree with your thought process there. It's interesting all the way around.
Question number 2, are these uniforms the best uniforms that you've seen in the group of 5? Because holy cow, those are good looking.
Those are so cool. You're talking about the white ones?
That is a good looking uniform.
That's SMU's uniform.
That's sharp.
You know, Columbia Academy's got something along those lines. They've got bulldogs and script across their chest.
I think I like the helmet with the the 3-line D.
Yeah,
There.
whatever that
The
those
3-line D with the Mustang inside.
Yeah.
in the Curse of Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that
The
says?
cursive. Yeah. That's solid.
Anyway, that's really that's what caught my eye more than the story. But the story, when I read it, it really kind of shocked me. I thought that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. But also, we've talked about on the show, kids need to do what's best for them. But on top of that, you can't continue to go to school and get free education and free food and free lodging
and not
play.
Yeah. Kids need to do what's best for them, but you can't get upset when schools do what's best for them either. I mean, if the two diverge.
Right.
It would seem, I think, opinion would be, though, if the school did come back on the student and did a role reversal, the school would be under a lot more scrutiny doing that.
The school would be under a lot more scrutiny, fairly or otherwise. The school would be under a lot more scrutiny. So,
well, I mean, I would certainly use it if I were recruiting against SMU.
Very true.
Well, I mean, who's to say they won't pull your scholarship? They've been known to do it mid-season.
Right.
And I mean, so there's a lot that kind of goes into that. But my question was, do y'all think it should be legal? And that I think they should be able to pull their scholarship. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying if the players say they're not going to play, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the school should be able to reciprocate.
Yeah.
They should have the option for sure. Definitely.
So
now, I mean, if they're willing to withstand the firestorm that goes with that.
Right. Like I can just see the headlines now.
Because, I mean, it's not going to be a good look, no matter how right they may be.
Right. And that's exactly what we're saying here. I'm a little shocked that that's where it is. So Anyway, couple of other things. One, College Game Days headed to Kansas for the first time ever, undefeated.
They've never had a reason.
Well, 2009 they were pretty good, but nobody else in the Big 12 was, so they didn't have a reason to go.
2009 was that a Charlie Weiss year?
I think so. It's either 2009 or 2007. I can't remember what year it was. They were ranked in the top 10, but
no, that was Martino.
Oh.
I can do a Google. What was it again?
Exactly.
Y'all Googler.
Yep.
Thank you, old Googler. But Kansas, TCU, undefeated. Both teams.
Both. Goodness gracious. What has the Big 12 come to?
Well, a lot of folks weren't ready for Baylor, Oklahoma State to be undefeated playing each other last year. And I mean, the Big 12 is kind of if you want parity, look at the Big 12. And this is a big deal. I mean, not just for anything, but for college football in the year that they've announced the 12-team playoff, it's a big deal for teams like Kansas and TCU to be making, headway in their conferences, I think.
Kansas is 5-0. TCU is 4-0. The only other unbeaten in the Big 12 is Oklahoma State, also at 4-0. Meanwhile, Kansas State is 4-1. They lose to.
Yikes!
That's it's interesting because we talked about Kansas State last week, and they had obviously they had just beaten.
They lost to
Oklahoma.
Tulane.
That's right, they did 14-10 or something.
17-10.
Okay,
they lost to Tulane the week before 2 weeks ago, basically.
Yeah, before they beat Oklahoma, and then Tulane went and
Oklahoma.
nearly beat Ole Miss. I mean, they were in the game. It wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
that Tulane, just looking really good after, and then they lost to Southern Miss the next week. So there you go. It was Tulsa, not Tulane, that almost beat Ole Miss.
It was Tulsa.
Tulsa and Tulane, same thing.
Iowa State, Oklahoma, and West Virginia each 0-2 in Big 12 play.
Big
I
12,
was just
man.
gawking over the fact of which I remember seeing it initially, but the TCU Oklahoma score. My goodness.
Well, that was one of the games that you texted me. You're like, what the heck is going on in Norman right now? And heck if I knew.
Right.
I mean, it was I did pick TCU on ESPN, but you couldn't have known that.
No.
Nobody could have seen that coming.
That's like an Alabama Vanderbilt game. I mean,
I'll tell you who else didn't see it coming. Brent
Venables.
Right.
And that was one of the
longtime defensive mastermind, Brent Venables, giving up 55 to TCU.
Okay.
Yikes.
What is it about Clemson coordinators not making good head coaches? Chad Morris, 0-16 in the SEC for Arkansas. Brent Venables goes to Oklahoma. Dylan Gabriel's out now, apparently.
Is he?
Yeah. Concussion.
Who's the other guy, though? There was another offensive coordinator behind Chad Morris that went on and got a head coaching job, didn't he? Who? Tony?
Oh, yeah. But
And
I think he came from the the group of 5 ranks. And I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but they've
Tony Elliott.
Yeah, they've struggled.
Is he at Virginia now?
Just in general.
Yeah.
Clemson coordinators have struggled as head coaches.
Sort of a Belichick curse as well.
Yeah. I mean, sort of.
Patricia going to Detroit, going 0-16. We see McDaniels this year.
Yeah. Josh hasn't had he's never been any good as a head coach. I mean,
no, it's true. He's got a lot of tries, but you're right.
Nick Saban.
Right.
Now, I don't put I give Nick Saban a lot more credit for what he did in Miami than a lot of people do, because that was not a very good football team. They were not a very good franchise at the time, but he did go 500, which is better than Steve Spurrier can say.
And it's better than if you just stepped onto the field and then walked off and never coached an actual game. Everybody did better than Urban Meyer.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, literally everyone.
Tony Elliott, meanwhile, is 2-3 at Virginia to further support your.
See, I don't know. It's so weird, isn't it? And now Clemson seems to be finding their way back. I mean,
seems to be so far.
If you asked me, and this is what I said this on Twitter, Clemson has finally earned the ranking they were given.
They've lived up to the hype, huh?
And I guess that's one of the few positives of a preseason poll. Because if they hadn't been ranked, they'd probably be 24th right now or 17th. And they probably wouldn't deserve to be 17th. They'd probably deserve to be a little better.
Well, again, how long did it take Kansas? Undefeated Kansas.
Right. They just now got in.
So, I mean, if you don't start up there, it's tough to
for Auburn
up there. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's one of the positives, like I said, of the preseason ranking. But other than that, I mean, they're playing in the ACC. Now, I don't think the ACC is very good. There's a lot of evidence to prove that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you dismantle everyone that isn't any good, I think Wake Forest is okay. I think they're probably decent. They're a top 15, top 17 team.
Mm-hmm.
They're ranked appropriately. And Clemson played them appropriately. But outside of that, I don't think North Carolina State's a top 10 team. I don't think North Carolina State's a top 20 team. I think I think a lot of their ranking was based on last year and a poor schedule to this point. And Clemson exposed them. I think they'll win maybe 7-8 ball games this year, and they'll end up being not ranked at the end of the year and playing in the Boca Raton Bowl or something. So, but I think Clemson is a legitimate playoff contender at this point.
Who did Wake Forest almost beat?
Clemson.
They went to overtime
right.
with Clemson, lost 51-45.
Gotcha.
And that was after destroying Vandy in Stan Hartman's first game back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting him a start like that on the road to kind of get his legs back under him as a starter right before you play Clemson. That was solid. And they were at home. So Clemson going to Wake Forest, getting a win. Say what you want to, you still have to travel and mess with your routine. It's a big win for Clemson. I think Clemson is they are a playoff team right now based off the rest of college football, because the rest of college football is crazy.
It is. It's up in the air.
So who are your 4 playoff teams? Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson?
Yeah, probably. Now here's what I'm here to tell you. I don't think the loser, if Georgia and Alabama both make the SEC championship game, I don't think the loser deserves to go. Based on
I agree with that 100%.
Based on their inability to be dominant against teams like Texas, against teams like Missouri, et cetera, Kent State.
Who is your 4th team? If not, and I'm not trying to be an SEC homer. I'm just saying I don't
probably
see
an Oklahoma State, or Kansas State or TCU.
You're going to give another Big 12 team a shot, huh? I guess as long as it's not Oklahoma.
Or maybe even USC. I mean, if USC runs the table and they win the Pac-12, you can't deny them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, as meh as the Pac-12 is, it's
an undefeated Pac-12 team.
USC, and it's not like it's Oregon State. It's USC,
right? With
Lincoln Riley, with Caleb Williams. I mean, they feel good enough. They look good enough. They fit the bill. Now, they get in there and they play Georgia. It's probably another Georgia-Michigan from last year. But you can't deny them.
Yeah.
So that's probably where it would end up going. Just whoever the Big 12 or Pac-12 champion would be, depending. And look, I think Alabama and Georgia are beatable. I think Alabama less so than Georgia right now. I don't know what the crap's going on over in Athens, but something weird. I think next week with the Smoky Gray, or with the if Tennessee wins and Alabama comes up to Neyland Stadium and it's undefeated Tennessee, and you've got all of that kind of going into it, that crowd will be nuts. It'll be
there's that emotion.
Kickoff. You've got a lot that goes into that.
I was gonna say I was wondering if you were gonna throw in the VOLS into the mix, but I like that scenario you just named off there, coming into Neyland undefeated, beating Georgia.
You never know. I mean, especially this college football season, Mo. This has just been a weird season
already. You had a 5 that you wanted to get to.
Right now, if you got a call from all five openings, which ones are you taking in what order?
You said, okay, so it's Georgia Tech.
It's Georgia Tech.
It's Wisconsin.
Nebraska.
It's Nebraska.
Arizona State and Colorado. Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, crazy as it sounds, I think if I get a call from all 5 and I'm going to take one of them, I think it's Wisconsin. I think they're the closest because I think they're the closest to being competitive at a high level. I think you've got some recruiting advantages at both Georgia Tech and Arizona State, but I think they're farther from being competitive in their respective conferences. And Nebraska and Colorado are just meh.
The one thing I'll say about Nebraska is I feel like at least they have people willing to put some money where their mouth is. I mean, they burned $7 million, lit it on
To
fire.
get rid of a guy 2 weeks early.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it's definitely Wisconsin. They're the easiest. That's the easiest place to win of those 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Arizona State just being in the Pac-12 makes it
And
an attractive job.
Again, the ability to recruit, both to recruit to Tempe and to get into Southern California relatively easily, and to be able to get those kids back to SoCal once you get them. I don't know why they're not any better than they are, really.
I mean, I can't. The last time Arizona State was really good was Jake Plummer.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like a school that should be better more often
Mm-hmm.
for all the reasons that you just named.
Yeah. So, and along those same lines, I mean, Georgia Tech is not going to get every Georgia kid, but they ought to be able to get a lot of them. And I think their
academic standards.
I think the academic standards can be a plus. I mean, it's not that much harder, I don't think, than a whole lot of their conference rivals in particular.
Probably not. I mean, I don't know what kind of limitations that puts on them. I've never really looked into it, but you would think Georgia Tech, just based on geography,
exactly.
would have an opportunity.
You could just go out your backyard and
you throw a rock and you hit 10 pretty good football players. Yeah. I mean, that's just the nature of being in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and who wouldn't want to be in Atlanta? That to me, that's like trying to recruit to Vanderbilt. I mean, Nashville should be an easy place to recruit to.
I mean, to steal a Vanderbilt phrase, the city, the degree, the ACC.
Yeah.
I've heard this phrase used about some other programs, and it's one of those deals where sooner or later Georgia Tech's going to get it right, and look out when they do.
It goes for Texas too down there. Texas is you're either a wrangler or a football player down there, and
yeah. So every school in Texas ought to be able to be pretty darn good,
right? Yeah,
you'd think.
So I guess they go other places, or they just quit playing.
Go to Louisiana. That's what they do.
It's true.
That's why LSU was none too happy about A&M or Texas coming to the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's take another short break here, and when we come back, Braves chatter. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back right after this.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint has been. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. That's the news intro for what I've been doing, but I love it. I like that it's got the strings and then boom, you got a little drum action there. It's solid.
Let it ride out a little bit.
Almost Makes you want to chop just a little. Did you see Chelsea Freeman's Instagram story with Charlie chopping? Thought that was interesting. Oh, chopping Charlie.
Yep, they
gotta love him. Good kid.
That's unfortunate.
Good kid. Good kid. Mm-hmm. Speaking of unfortunate, Braves last night, just like you said it flat.
They were flat. They were just flat, man. And I tell you, and again, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know because I was there Saturday night. I was fortunate enough to be there. The atmosphere Saturday night, and from all indications, the atmosphere Friday night and Sunday night was just electric. And it had to have an impact on those guys. And so for them to then go and play in front of 12 folks in Miami had to be a little tough to get up. The Marlins are used to it. And I was concerned as the Marlins were giving the Mets such trouble last week that this could happen anyway. But just from a energy or lack thereof standpoint, I wonder if last night wouldn't have been a game to throw a Heredia or a Von Grissom or some folks out there. And
yes, Bobby Cox was notorious for a B team.
Yeah, bomb squad.
And
absolutely.
I don't understand. Well,
yeah, you do.
Let me tell you what I tweeted, and it will make sense to you. It'll make sense to a lot of our viewers who watch the show regularly. Dansby Swanson is making this lineup. I don't think Brian Snicker makes the lineup. Truly, I don't understand why on earth you would not give guys like Dansby, Matt, even Michael Harris. Apparently, they didn't get to Miami until 3 a.m.
Well, Harris is 21. He ain't tired.
He's probably a lot of these guys are young, but I mean, you can't do that. You can't put your body in that stressful of an environment 3 consecutive days and then not expect to.
And the game time was earlier than you. I mean, that game was done by 8:15 last night, our time. That was weird.
Everything said, give the
Bomb
guys
squad.
you can give a rest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what they did.
And they committed 2 errors early.
Was it Arcia?
Arcia
at second base with a throwing error
he had a throwing error and he had a fielding error.
So, I mean, I know that Elder gave up a couple doubles, but I mean, you make
those plays.
You get out of the first inning with just 1 run instead of 2.
Of course, as the offense played it, you just lose 2-0 instead of 4-0.
Right. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and the offense just wasn't ready. So,
and Luzardo was pretty good.
Oh, it's a Z?
I believe so.
Sorry. I thought it was Cherry Guy, Luxardo.
No, it's Luzardo.
No, it is. It's just Luzardo.
Yeah.
And he was really good. And De La Cruz hit the ball like a madman, trying out to get a spot on the Braves roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 3 for 4 with a pair of runs and 3 RBIs. He had a double and a home run. De La Cruz did.
He led the game off with that first double. Then he ended up scoring the run. And I mean, yeah, he was.
Well, he hit a couple of balls foul way deep, and then he hit that home run to left center. And it's like, this one ain't going foul.
No, he made sure he kept that one fair. Did he keep it fair? Yes.
Keep it fair.
Yeah. But it just didn't make a whole lot of sense for, like you said, for this team to be out there when you have guys who haven't played and haven't been in that stress situation. And there goes Grant McCauley with the only MLB team that has not been swept this season. So hasn't been done since 2004 when the Braves did it. Look, man, here's the weird thing. You could look up in the fourth inning tonight and realize you won the division. You could potentially see the scoreboard in the fourth inning and say, well, damn, we just won the division.
I'm going to go on record. There is no universe in which the Braves get swept in Miami and the Mets sweep the Nats wherever they wind up playing.
Oh, I agree.
And that's not going to happen. So,
I don't.
And what I would wish would be almost that the Mets sweep today, the Braves lose today, and the Mets go all in on trying to win the East and screw their pitching up for the wild card that they're going to have to play in starting on Friday.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun. But at the same time, the Braves probably need to just go ahead and clinch as quickly as possible.
Sure. I mean, you don't want to put yourself into another stressful situation on a Wednesday in 162
against a Miami team that's got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah,
and a manager who desperately wants to be a jerk and win this thing and get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, you got to win. You don't want to. You don't want to celebrate a division championship following a 5-4 loss.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to back into it.
Do you? Like, do you put champagne in the locker room if you lose?
I think it's a bit more subdued if you don't actually win on the field yourself. I think it's got to be. I mean,
it's less expensive champagne.
Okay.
There you go.
It's sparkling grape juice. You don't get champagne.
Exactly. And you can't wear goggles.
You get Welch's.
But yeah, I just think it kind of takes something away from the celebration.
It'd be hard. It'd be hard for me to celebrate if I just lost a game.
But they lost too, so we still clinch.
Unless you do look up in the fourth inning, you see the Mets lost the first game of that series, and you just mail it in and say, all right, Snit, send out Heredia, send out. And just,
it wouldn't surprise me if it did happen mid-game like that did happen.
And they just said,
get some guys out.
Yep, get them out.
Get them out.
We don't have to win this. Let's go. Then it feels like you didn't beat us. We let you win. We quit.
we quit.
You didn't win.
We don't care anymore.
we forfeited.
I mean, essentially,
yeah,
that's what you're doing. And why not?
And again, who knows? You put some of those guys in that don't play a whole lot.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah,
we've seen it.
So
anyway, the Atlanta Area Baseball Writers Association voted today for Brave of the Year. The winner,
Dansby Swanson,
Austin Riley.
Okay,
Austin beat Dansby by 1 vote, 7-6.
Well, I tell you what, if Michael Harris II had been up for a full year, they'd have both been runners up.
Yeah. Speaking of, and you responded to this, but kudos to Drew Waters. 3 home runs in a series. Good for him.
Happy for him.
Yes, absolutely.
Glad he's having success in Kansas City. And
do I wish that we could have gotten more for him? Sure.
We could have gotten more for him, but I just don't think there was a spot for him on this roster.
And thing is, he wasn't hitting very well here, and because he knew there wasn't a spot for him on the big league
and
roster.
I think that's what has happened with him. I think it's kind of the trade has kind of given him a new lease on life. I think
that's exactly.
I don't think he was going to do what he's doing in Kansas City for this organization, either at Gwinnett or in Atlanta.
Nope.
So, it
worked out.
It worked out for him. Maybe it'll work out for the Braves. I wouldn't bet against AA on any trade he makes at this point.
There you go.
Even the one that Could cost him $1 million by the end of the night. It won't.
Well, if you look up in the fourth inning, you've won the division. Why not?
Let him roll.
Let him roll, baby. Get them $1 million.
I don't see a scenario that finds Jake Odorizzi on the mound in the 9th.
Just saying.
So he will be the starter tonight, though. Fanned out behind him defensively will be Ronald Acuna in right, Swanson at short, Riley at third, Darno in the cleanup spot catching, Olsen at first, Contreras batting sixth and DHing, Arcia, MH2, and Robbie Grossman in left again. So that is your Braves lineup for the 5:40 start. Again, really odd. 5:40 Central against Miami. Next to the last game of the regular season.
Can't hold anything back now.
There we go.
All right, let's get to this day in Braves history. Chip Walters is awaiting.
October 4th, 1997, in a game featuring home runs by Expo teammates Larry Walker and Marquise Grissom, Atlanta took a 2-0 NLDS lead over host Colorado with a 7-4 Game 2 victory. Took a 4-run rally in the 9th, keyed by a 2-run throwing error by Rocky second baseman. Recognize this name? Eric Young. And 2 strikeouts by Mark Wohlers in the bottom for the comeback win.
Man.
EY helping out the Braves.
Long time.
Yeah.
That's why we love him. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Chip Walters joins us on Main Street Sports Today. Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll get to Top 5 Tuesday here in just a few short minutes, but we've got first our good friend from Murfreesboro, the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today.
Looking quite colorful this afternoon.
Yeah, well, you get the red, white, and blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good looking stuff.
It is.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's Madras. So
what's going on, man?
I just, getting ready for a trip to Birmingham this week and, licking some wounds and trying to check in basketball schedules and stuff coming down the pike here, getting ready for the what we call the crossover in November, where we've got basketball and football going on at the same time, and just just checking out whatever's going on. And I was going to check some headlines here while we were talking, see what I've missed out on yet this morning. But right now, looks like a lot of stuff happening, but football is kind of the lead dog right now, and coming off it ended up being a very competitive game, and that on last Friday night. But I'm about to sneeze, so just get ready for that. But it was kind of tough getting behind and having to play catch up against a UTSA team that is really good. And I think anybody that had a chance to see the game understands that Frank Harris is an elite level quarterback, and he's got a group of receivers that all three will have a chance to play on Sunday. So tough to lose at home coming off of a great win. You'd love to have been able to stack another win behind the Miami victory, but to be quite honest, lost to a better team than we had beaten the week before. And we're in a string now with UTSA, UAB, and Western Kentucky, where that's not going to be an easy stretch for anybody.
So, Chip, will you take the crew on a hunt for barbecue on Friday night, or what's the plan there?
Going to be a day trip on Saturday.
Oh, down and back, huh?
Down and back. Yeah, we're going to head out. I mean, I told Mark Owens that my limit for overnight road trips in football this year is 6. So instead we're just going to drive down Saturday morning and get there in time for setup and come home. It's a long day, but don't have to pack a bag this time.
Well, the good thing is if you do get hungry, you can literally walk across the street. There's several phenomenal options in Uptown. And
yes, there are.
There. I mean, you've got Southern Kitchen. You've got, of course, you could always just do Texas de Brazil if you're feeling real fancy. Or
if you're wanting to feel real stuffed.
So there's that.
Yeah. What's the burger joint that's over there? There's Mugshots. That's right. There's one in Hattiesburg as well, and so it kind of reminds me of, it's kind of in my opinion, it's the Birmingham Toots.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's kind of what
pretty much
that's the style that you're going to get to, and it's quick. You can get in and get out in about 30-45 minutes, and if you want to, and of course you can stick around and have a beverage or whatever if you'd like to do that as well. But yeah, Birmingham, that area over there makes it a little bit easier. It's a lot easier than Legion Field.
More choices over there as well.
Well,
over by the old gray lady.
Now, over by the old gray lady, there was a place called Tide and Tiger, which was really a hole-in-the-wall barbecue place, but it's where I watched that Tennessee-Arkansas game in '98 after covering MTSU UAB in Boots' last game. Does that sound right, Chip?
Yes, it does. Okay. Yep, that was his last game.
And stepped over there after I got done and saw.
I don't think it's still open.
I'm sure it's not.
It was a hole in the wall in '98.
Yeah.
And if you remember Ja'Cory Williams that played basketball at Middle, his parents, they've got a meet and 3 somewhere over in that area of town that I've not been in it, but I've eaten the food from there because they catered the basketball post-game meal at UAB a couple of years ago. But nice. And it's pretty solid as well. A lot of folks from here when they go to Birmingham, they'll stop off at Nikki's Nikki's West and go through that gigantic cafeteria line.
For those of you who have not done that, if you're going to do that, look at the menu ahead of time. Know what you're going to order.
Oh, will they yell at you?
They will yell at you. Let's go. It's not. This is not this. We don't play around. We're not thinking. We just know what you're getting.
There's nothing like getting scolded in a restaurant.
I mean, they are not playing.
Ask Pernell Knox about his trips to Clearview.
I'm telling you, it's insane. Like they're dragging you through that line. So if you're going to Nikki's, great place, phenomenal food. Just know what you're getting.
Know what you're getting.
That's right. Yeah, do your homework before you get in line. That's correct.
That's awesome. Speaking of doing your homework, Chip, what's this UAB team gonna bring to the party Saturday?
Well, they like to run the football, which that's nothing different than they've done for the last several years. But the thing is, they're number one they're number one in run defense, number one in pass defense, number one in overall defense in Conference USA. So they like to play physical football, and the coach talked about that, and that's exactly what their expectation is. I think there's 2018 we haven't played since 2018, I don't think, because we had the last time we were scheduled to play in 2020, that game was canceled due to COVID. So this will be the first time in a while, and it'll obviously be the first time to go to Protective Stadium.
Voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chip, from what you've seen, from what you hear, how do the Blazers look different under the new regime than they did under Bill Clark, who retired just before the season, I guess?
Yeah, and the last, so there was not a lot of time to change much. And I talked to had their sideline reporter on Coach Stock's show last night, and it was he didn't say it this way, but it sounded like it was almost like, okay, here's the notebook, and here's how we've run this program over the last few years, and the new head coach is a veteran of the staff, so he's been around, he's seen what Bill did as a head coach, and Bryant Vincent has gotten them off to a 2-2 start and played some pretty good teams. Rice, one of the most improved teams in our league, ended up being a 4-point loss last weekend, and they lost a tough game up at Liberty, and we all know how that can be. But it's I would say that from the outside, we're not going to be able to see a ton of difference in UAB. I'm sure that he's put his thumbprint on certain things of how they're going about things. So, that's the big deal right now is for them to do their thing, and they're comfortable. And it was almost from everything I've read, it was almost a seamless transition. And to the outside eye, you won't see a whole lot of difference right now.
But here's the thing. This is a winnable football game. This is not
correct.
Dominant UAB from 19. This is a UAB football team that can be beaten by this Middle Tennessee State team. And I think you have to understand that going in. You don't want to feel like the underdog, even though you might be a little bit of one. You got to feel like you can win this game if you are a Blue Raider fan.
Well, I think that's exactly right. This is not, as you well said, not an unbeatable UAB team, and I think we found last week that UTSA, it's going to take something for them to run it. There's somebody's going to have the right defensive plan against them to shut those receivers down, because if you look back at that game, and then we'll jump ahead, but Middle, when it was down 38-30, had on 3 possessions had scored field goals instead of touchdowns. So there were 12 points that Middle did not score had they done that and been more efficient offensively, would have had an excellent chance to have already been in the lead at that point. So, that's one of those things. I think lesson learned there. UAB is not as prolific offensively, but how they get there, they're not typically going to have the 5-play 74-yard drive that takes a minute and 26 seconds off the clock. They're going to have the 14-play 74-yard drive that takes 6 minutes and 18 seconds off the clock. So, you feel like if you can score some, you're always going to have an opportunity as that one gets close. But they've been really good defensively, and Middle has, for 4 weeks in a row now, has either scored a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown, and they need to do that again to continue that on. And for 2 weeks in a row, they've had a defensive lineman score a touchdown. So, they continue to make big plays. And Coach Stock talked last night that their version of what they figure are explosive plays, they need to beat UAB in that category and take care of the football. And he feels like those two numbers are key to a Blue Raider victory.
Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Skipping ahead, Chip, past this UAB game, a week from Friday, the Blue Raider Athletic Hall of Fame will welcome its class of 22, including former linebacker Don Thomas among a class of 6 going in. It's a fairly impressive looking class. I don't know how DT got in it, but no. Don and I were around MTSU at virtually the same time, and he's now principal down at Giles County High School just south of us here in Columbia, but was a freshman starter on MTSU's 1985 team that won 11-0 during the regular season. Again, heck of a career over there and part of a really impressive class going in during next Friday's ceremonies ahead of the homecoming game on the 15th against Western Kentucky.
And good to know that Don, being the principal at Giles County, their game has been moved to Thursday, so it can accommodate his schedule to be in Murfreesboro.
Rank has its privilege, right?
That's exactly right. And if you don't, I've always heard, and if you don't take advantage of that, you don't have it. So that's what you need to do. But Don Thomas, Brian Peck. Brian Peck goes in from baseball, and he was a JUCO, only a 2-year guy. Mm-hmm. Sandy Neal, how appropriate is it that Middle's first scholarship female athlete goes in on the 50th anniversary of Title IX?
That's good stuff.
Yeah, Kevin Kanaski, all-time assist leader in men's basketball. Crystal Horton is in the top 10 in both points and rebounds. And she was in. She is one of the few players to win 3 NCAA tournament games, and she's now at Providence Christian Academy. And Leslie Clark, now her married name is Vance. She is the all-time assist leader in volleyball and is one of the top 2 or 3 volleyball players to ever play here. But that is a great class of 6. The induction will be on Friday night, and they'll be around hopefully in the parade on homecoming morning. And of course, they'll be there to be recognized on the field during the game with Western Kentucky. But I'm fortunate to be part of the group that helped select the Hall of Fame class, and this is, we've been so lucky the last few years to put together incredible classes, and this one does not take a back seat to any that we've had.
You mentioned Don Thomas. As I said, he's the principal down at Giles County now. Played his high school ball at Lincoln County. Crystal Horton played at Riverdale, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So it's nice when you can have those local products that stuck around here close to home and get recognized in such a manner as this. So, and
you mentioned like Sandy Neal. She was the first scholarship female athlete, but also served as women's tennis coach, and has been very close to the program and taught in the Hypers department for years, and still very close to the tennis program. So they are 3 of the 6, all are still within 50 miles of campus or something like that, if you count Don in there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how far it is from Pulaski to Murfreesboro, but
I've driven it. It takes forever.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah. Okay. All right. Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us here on Main Street Sports today, as he does every Tuesday. Chip, we appreciate you.
Thank you much, and it was good to see that you guys were on campus last Friday.
Yeah.
Got to check out basketball practice for both the Lady Raiders and Blue Raiders, and then a fun night. It was a fun night, even though it didn't turn out with the outcome we wanted. It was still a lot of fun, and in particular to see Kevin Byard's number get retired, and it's there's not going to be a number 14, nor will there be a number 20. To wear a Blue Raider uniform in football.
It's impressive. And I think the fact that only one other number had been retired previously makes this even more impressive for the mayor of Murfreesboro.
Hold on. I think Aaron Judge is coming to bat. Hold on just a second. No, wait a minute.
This guy. We're going to have to cut in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
On that note, Chip, we'll catch up with you next Tuesday, man.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it. Let's roll into Top 5 Tuesday, presented by our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness. Mid-South 5 Fitness at Steel Athletes on Instagram, steelathletes.com, STEEL athletes.com. Go check them out. Today's top 5 is top 5 rappers. Rest in peace, Coolio. We pour an RC out for the homie. We
still got the RC on deck. I love it.
Listen, man, we said this last week. I am a huge fan of Coolio's. Just because of his work with the Gangsta's Paradise is one of the probably top 5 most popular rap songs of all time, if I had to guess.
Absolutely. Up there with
might be top 2.
Up there with Who Let the Dogs Out.
Okay, you're out of the shrine. Turn in your ring and your tie.
It's been fun.
Baja Boys, let the dogs out. That's so good.
It's awful. So I will just tell you that I've got a list of 10 over here, and I don't know how I'm going to get them down to 5. But now
pick randomly and then tell us at the end.
No, I will tell you at the end. But these are not. They may not necessarily be the top rappers or the best rappers, but they are my favorites.
And that's what this is about. This is not. This is not about. We're not trying to list the best rappers of all time.
We won't tell them.
Thank you.
So, anyway, let's start. Let's start with Justin.
All right,
because Justin is going to have a completely different list than you and I.
Yes.
And you got to remember.
Well, I'm probably going to have a little bit of a different list than you.
You're going to have a different list than me too, because the eras that we're talking about here are completely different eras. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. So Justin.
So my number 5, and he used to be my number 1, from Cashville, Tennessee, Starlito, or formerly known as All Star.
Never heard of this person.
I've heard the name. I'm not familiar with his work, but I've heard the name.
Can I use hip hop artists? Wait a minute. Can like Jelly Roll be in this? Because if he is,
it's your list.
Out of Antioch.
It's your list.
This Starlito is he's got famous songs. You might have heard of one. Let me think. I Go Ham.
If you have to think about it,
then yeah. Anyway,
Super Underground.
Number 1.
My number 5.
Your number 5.
That too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a group, NWA. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to have a list of top 5 rappers without NWA. Let's just be honest here.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, number 5.
My number 5. And again, I'm sitting here looking at.
He's
10.
just guessing at this point.
Yeah, I'm guessing. before he was the actor Will Smith, he was the rapper, the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two different rappers. There's the Fresh Prince and there's Will Smith. There are two different rappers.
Well, that's true too.
So you got to
because
Summertime
the Fresh
and Big
Prince,
Willie style, not the same record.
He rolled up the sleeves.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So we're gonna make both of them number 5. But I mean, Summertime and
Parents just don't understand
Mhm.
that cassette tape wore it out, son.
That's Fresh Prince. Miami, like you said, Big Willie style.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Not the same rapper.
But yeah, that's my number 5.
That's a
whoever
great one.
that is.
That is
All
a
right.
great. Wow. He's not even on the list, but he should probably be my number 1 because I know every word to Big Willie style. The entire record from start to finish, know every word.
I didn't get this reaction off of mine, but it's okay because maybe my number 4 will get it.
Because I don't even know who your Starlito is.
Yeah,
Number 4, Justin.
Number 4.
Like, was it my turn?
Yes, it
my
is.
number 4 is Lil Wayne, just because the other 3 will be. I just couldn't, put him on top.
Look, Lil Wayne is he's in the conversation for best rapper of all time, I think.
It's rapping live.
So I can understand that.
When I was younger, like when I was 2008 to 2011, you couldn't turn on the radio without hearing Lil Wayne.
That is true.
Yeah, and see that's anyway.
Yeah.
My number 4 is another group here. Duo, technically, Salt and Peppa.
You can't have
as
one.
As far
with
as female rappers go, they're probably not my favorite. I think my favorite is probably Missy Elliott or Eve. I love Eve, but I think as far as like songs that I can sing along to, Salt and Peppa has a lot more sing along songs.
I will just say that my kids listen to a lot more Missy than they should have.
My kid listens to a lot more, a lot of stuff that she shouldn't, but not by choice.
My number 4.
He's just crossing names off. This is great.
Yeah.
This is
I'm going to go back again. Another rapper turned actor.
Okay.
LL.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool J.
Yeah.
I like LL Cool J.
Gets the crowd hype. Gets the crowd hype.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate the number of people that don't know him as a rapper.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, NCIS Los Angeles it softened him. Let's just put it that way.
He really did buy into that role. That's
but as they would say, he had some bars.
Dude can spit. He can spit.
Big time.
Look at the lingo.
Number 3, Justin.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Notorious B.I.G. I had a CD. So when I got my most recent car, in the CD player there was Ready to Die, that whole album. And I didn't have an aux cord or anything, so I just played it through. And his lyrics, just the way he says stuff, is just
very talented.
It is
talented, dude.
Very, very much so.
Just remember, the more money you come across,
the more problems you see.
The more problems you see.
Yep.
That is, if that's not the most intellectual line in the history of rap music, I don't know what is.
More money, more
I would just like to point that out.
Absolutely.
My number 3 is also consistently in the greatest rapper of all time category. That is Jay-Z.
Oh, that's a good one.
HOVA.
Hove.
So I like Jay-Z.
I've never been a big Jay-Z fan, to be honest.
Me neither. Me
Yeah.
neither. I just don't like the way, like his cadence, I guess.
Yeah.
I like it.
But yeah,
that's just me. Yeah.
Talented. Very talented.
Very.
I'm just not a big fan. That's all. My number 3, called himself the King of the South. T.I.
Okay.
Ooh, Mo, that's a fantastic one. That is a great one.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming. Didn't see that one coming.
Me neither. No tip.
I like it. T.I. is good. T.I. is good.
He's a good actor too. I think he's underrated.
I think you're right. Yeah.
We should.
Rappers turned actors.
That might be a top 5 right there.
It may be because we could do that.
I mean, Most Def is one of my favorite actors.
Someone else who's on my list, but they won't be in the top 5, but
I mean, there's a lot out there anyway.
Definitely.
Continuing
number
right
2,
along to number
Justin?
2, Justin.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with just who I mean, like every time he drops an album, y'all are gonna think it's mainstream. I don't care. Drizzy, baby, he's my number 2. Drake,
Okay.
Aubrey Graham.
Again, consistently in the best rapper of all time, but that's a guy that the style of rap that I like, I feel like I should like Drake, but I don't.
But you don't.
But
And I don't know why. And I think it's because he's too mainstream. Right. I think it's because everybody likes it, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna like him because of that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about
I'm not following the parade. Sorry,
not. So I don't know, but it's not. It's perfectly fine.
He's
just a good.
He also is one of those guys where, you listen to the song and then it sounds good, and then like months later you listen to it again, you hear something that you didn't hear the time before, kind of thing.
And the last 2 that I have on my list, you're going to understand my preferred style of rap is lyrical. There's 2 different styles of rap, but mine are definitely mine are definitely lyrical.
You're about to say my number 1. I can feel it.
But my number 2 is Snoop.
Oh, okay.
He just, I mean, it's about the writing for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily about, it's about what he's saying, not how he's saying it, or how fast he's saying it, or whatever.
He's telling a story.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He is. So that's
a real cool way.
My number 2, going to stay on the West Coast. Ice Cube.
The one that wrote the raps for NWA.
There you go.
And that was, I was going to go Ice Cube on his own, but I don't know that we ever get Ice Cube without NWA.
Quite possibly not.
You're right. Not as big, that's for sure.
That's fair.
Rapper turned actor.
Right. Yeah.
Is that your entire list?
No, it's not. It just happens to be the case.
Just your favorites.
Yeah. Justin, who's your number 1?
So number 1, I got to go with the only guy I've ever known to rhyme the word orange, and that is Eminem. You just can't compete with the lyrical knowledge of that guy. You just can't, whether you like his music or not.
And Clarence's parents have a real nice marriage.
You know what rhymes with orange? Florida sucks.
What's your number 1?
My number 1, T.I. can call himself the king of the South all he wants. He does not touch Ludacris. And it's not even close. It's not even close.
Another actor?
Yes. He look, Fast and Furious was awesome. Okay. Look, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, anyway.
My number 1 has been mentioned here in the last couple of seconds, basically. Snoop.
Okay.
The Chronic was just it was one of the first CDs that I bought. And I played it to death.
Man, it's such he's so good.
Yeah, he's so smooth.
Yes,
he is, man.
It's that California cool.
D-O-double-G.
My number 1 was going to be Dr. Seuss, but I didn't know if y'all
recognize him as a rapper. Yeah, I will say that those that did not make the cut as we continue on the rapper actors, Ice-T. I've got Luda over here. Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah, she's there for me specifically.
Busta Rhymes.
Busta, that's a good one.
I've got Eminem on deck, and
there you go.
And the only rapper who follows me on Twitter, Bubba Sparks.
Oh, that's right. You do have Bubba Sparks following you. That's so crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah.
My honorable mentions include.
Also Ice-T.
You said that one. That was the first one. You said.
Cool. My bad.
Nelly. Because Nelly and 50 Cent, because they came out at the same time when I was in high school, and so
that's another CD I played to death.
Which one?
Nelly's
Country Grammar. Oh yeah, I know it. I know Big Willie style, and I know Country Grammar front to back every song. I can even do the interludes of country grammar. What was his name? We call him on.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah, but he had a name on the CD, and I can't remember what it was. But he would call him on the cell phone or on the phone and leave a voicemail, and it was hilarious.
I know my first album actually ever was
Really?
Get Rich or Die Trying, where he's got it looks like it's shattered, you know.
Yeah, Candy Shop and
Man.
And then
Speaking of songs my kids didn't need to hear. Yeah.
Eazy-E is also
Eazy-E was
one of the greats.
Yes.
I'm surprised no one has mentioned Tupac yet. Or
I was not a big Tupac fan.
Me neither.
Other than California Love,
that's about it.
And Keep Your Head Up.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a couple great ones, but
I liked him more as a like, you know, what he stood for, like how he was as a person than his raps actually. So.
Another decent actor as well.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. Yeah, there you go.
That wraps up our top 5 here on Top 5 Tuesday, brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness. Thalas Steel, getting you right. 2 great locations, one in Columbia, one in Franklin. And I'm
just like us, one in Columbia, one in Franklin.
Yeah, there you go. The reason I'm wrapping this up is 1, we're late, but 2, before we leave, scrolling through Twitter as I am wont to do. Tom Brady and Giselle have apparently hired divorce attorneys.
They have. And
oh my goodness.
According to yesterday's guest, Mike Patton, Tia Mowry also getting divorced. So time to get in shape.
I was about to say, I got to go, guys, for a totally unrelated reason, but I have to run to Giselle's house.
If you're only just now getting headed that way, you're probably too late.
Yes, I'm going to be like, I'm going to
go ahead.
Some guy said that Tom Brady threw his family away to play the Panthers 2 times a year. How bad do you have to be? How upset and how terrible does your home life have to be to want to play football?
More than to be at home with Giselle?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things have to happen for a lot.
I will tell you this though, and well, I'll tell you this off the air.
We all know.
I'll tell you this off the air.
Out of Franklin, Tennessee, the Matrix,
the Hot Crazy Matrix,
the Hot
Dana
Crazy
McClendon,
Matrix.
Joe Williams' sidekick on Friday Night Football.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Anyway, Justin, appreciate you hanging out with us today. We're going to let you get back to the other part of your job, and we're going to get out of here on this Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Heather Williams will join us, and we'll probably have some other fantastic guests that we can't tell you about just yet. So just stick around tomorrow, 2:00. Heather Williams and Main Street Sports Today. For Mo and Justin, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. See you tomorrow.